Hi everybody and welcome back to the 75th season of Bearcat Update. I'm your host Jason Holland and today we'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our fall sports. From volleyball's big win to the tennis's busy weekend at ITA Regionals and everything in between. Let's cue the intro. The football team took on the 11th ranked Emporia State this weekend in a defensive battle that came down to the wire. In a game that produced 8 turnovers, 7 of which coming from the offense, the defense showed out and kept the Bearcats in it until the very end. An early fourth quarter touchdown pass from Chris Runke proved to be the difference maker as the defense held Emporia State's offense scoreless in the second half. Sacks from newcomers Travion Traylor and Trey Melby helped showcase what the defense is made of, as they have allowed only 9 total points in the past 2 games combined. The Bearcats hope to keep the ball rolling after this gutsy Family Day victory, as they will take on the Washburn Ichabods this Saturday in Topeka, Kansas. On the topic of football, our beloved producer Killian Beck is adding his insight and football knowledge into Bearcat Update this semester. Let us know what you think in the comments section down below. Take it away, Killian.
The Northwest Missouri State football team celebrated Family Weekend and all were invited to watch the highly anticipated matchup against the 11th ranked Emporia State Hornets. Aside from the high stakes of Family Weekend, the Bearcats had many reasons to go and dismantle the high-flying Hornets in a 14-9 victory. For starters, this Emporia State team spoiled the Bearcats' home opener last year in a 33-13 victory. But I think what's most important about this win is the people have doubted this Bearcat team. But the team put their head down and shut out the noise, and now they're right back on track. After an uncharacteristic 0-2 start, this team has now reeled off 3 straight wins, with 2 of them coming against nationally ranked opponents in Fort Hays and now Emporia State. But what's so impressive about Saturday's win is that they won in a brand new way. With the strength of the defense as the offense found its footing against a strong Emporia defense, this game went down to the wire, as with under a minute, the aforementioned Bearcat defense was asked to make just one more stop, as the Hornets gained possession in Bearcat territory with under 2 minutes to go. But just as it looked like Emporia State would spoil the Bearcats' party again, the defense came up with a big stop to save the day. This win surely will find our Bearcats in the national rankings, as their playoff chances are surging. This has been Killian Beck with Bearcat Update, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Thanks, Killian. The volleyball team opened their home season and MIAA play Friday night against the 24th ranked Washburn Ichabods. Riding high off a 4-game win streak in a packed house, the Bearcats marched their way to victory in an action-packed 5 sets. With more on the match, let's throw it over to our reporter, Skyler Stamps.
It's a great night for volleyball here inside Bearcat Arena as Northwest and Washburn get set to kick off the 2024 conference slate here in the MIAA. Northwest comes into this matchup 6-4, coming off of a 4-game winning streak, hoping to keep that alive. On the other hand, Washburn is a different story, coming in 9 wins, 1 loss, and ranked 24th in the Division II polls. We're in for a good one tonight.
And a good one it was. Both teams combined for 152 kills in the 5-set thriller to open conference play. In the first set, Washburn jumped out to an early lead and never looked back. The Ichabods took set 1, 25-18. In the second set, Northwest locked in on this kill by Abby Brunson, assisted by Ella Caffrey. Brunson tallied a team-high 25 kills on the night. The Bearcats would win a close set too, 28-26. In the third set, Ella Caffrey set up Olivia Durr for the kill to keep the momentum rolling as the Bearcats looked dominant in a 25-19 set 3 win. The Bearcats now up 2-1. Not to be outdone, Washburn came out swinging in the fourth set, determined to send this one to 5. That's exactly what they did, flipping the script and taking set 4 over the Bearcats, 25-19. In the 5th set, the Bearcats had game point, 14-12. Peyton Kirchhoffer couldn't get her swing down, but Ella Caffrey and Kate Frakes team up for the game-winning block as the Bearcats win set 5, 15-12, and the game 3-2. Oftentimes, defensive players don't get the spotlight, but tonight, Northwest senior libero Kaya Luring became the 16th Bearcat to tally 1,000 digs over her career, tallying 27 against Washburn. Luring talked about what that means to her.
Really, it just means a lot to me and just like to the team. Like, it shows that they're opening it up for me, like funneling the block towards me. So it's a great milestone, but like to get the win is even better.
Luring also talked about stepping into a leadership role this year and how experience has helped the Bearcats.
Yeah, I just try to be a vocal leader. I mean, I try to bring the energy. Sometimes jitters come out first home game of the season. You try to let the younger kids know, like, this is normal, it's okay, like, we'll find our flow. So really just vocal leader, vocal energy, just trying to keep the vibes high.
Northwest was back in action against Emporia State last night. Jason will give you the highlights. Reporting for Bearcat Update, I'm Skyler Stamps.
Thanks, Skyler. The volleyball girls look to stretch their winning streak to 6 after inviting Emporia State to Bearcat Arena yesterday, but unfortunately fell short in a tight 3-1 loss to the Hornets. The Bearcats had 4 players in double figures in digs, so there is still a light at the end of every tunnel. Hang in there, ladies. For a closer look into the world of the volleyball team, our reporter Zac Scott sat down with head coach Amy Woerth. Take it away, Zac.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the new episode of Tenacity, the show where we look at the most tenacious team at Northwest, the women's volleyball team. With that being said, let's talk about it. The volleyball team got to play their home opener against the Washburn Ichabods on Friday in front of a cheering home crowd along with home field advantage. The volleyball team was happy, ready, and dancing around on the sidelines, having a laugh, but the instant the whistle blows, it's game time. Within the chaos that is volleyball, with all the hype and celebrations after points, there's one stalwart figure ready to refocus and reel the team back in. Head coach Amy Woerth is in her 13th season of head coaching for the volleyball team, having the most victories in program's history, 2 MIAA Coach of the Year awards in 2018 and 2022, and is Northwest's all-time coaching wins leader. But what makes Woerth such a formidable coach? It's the way she carries herself, never overzealous, but calm and always watching for ways to win.
I just always have stayed pretty stoic is what kind of people have described me as. I don't get too high, I don't get too low. I was excited for the win, but you didn't see me like, if we win conference championships, that's when I get really excited and jump people's arms. But I've always been this way, and so I just allow myself to do it, and I think it does help our team not get too high or too low.
Even with Woerth's calm exterior, she brings out the best in the team, with aggressive play and tenacious court presence.
Tenacity, like it really describes what we did. They're a good team, and I just thought we overcame what they threw at us.
With that tenacity, the Bearcats brushed past the Ichabods, taking 3 sets over the Ichabods too. We hope to see tenacity like this in all future volleyball games, with Coach Woerth taking command. Now, that's all I have for today. Now, thank you for watching, and I'm sending it back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Zac. The soccer girls made the short trip to South Wednesday to take on the Missouri Western Griffins. It was a slow game for the Bearcat offense, but goalkeeper Lily Ellis surpassed the 200 career saves mark, becoming only the 5th in Northwest history to do so. Junior Darian Gordon scored her first career goal in the 78th minute, but what's better than 1? That's right, 2. Gordon scored her second career goal only 5 minutes later to give the Bearcats some hope. The late push proved to not be enough, though, as the game ended in a 3-2 victory for the Griffins. The ladies are live today, taking on the Northeastern Riverhawks at home for Senior Day. Hey, it's halftime. If you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe and click the bell to be the first to know when we post new content. But as we head into our first break, make sure to stick around to catch our meeting with the cheer team. We'll be right back.
Unlike other organizations on and around campus, here, the students do it all.
KNWT is a student-run and student-produced television station.
To support this content, you can go to our YouTube channel at KNWT Channel 8.
And watch the latest shows or even enjoy blasts from the past.
Stay on top of current events and the biggest stories of the week with Northwest News.
Welcome back to Northwest News. I'm Skyler Stamps.
And I'm Wiley Ray.
Get all the latest news coverage and updates about Northwest, the Maryville community, and ways you can stay involved on and off campus. Northwest News every Monday at 8 a.m. on KNWT TV.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Our reporter Jake Walker sat down with one of his teammates on the cheer team so you can get to know them and their story. Take it away, Jake.
Welcome back to Meet the Cheer Team. Similar to last week, we are taking a look at another one of our vets today.
I'm Lacey. I'm a sophomore on the team. My major is stenography, and I'm a flyer.
Having years of experience as a top girl, Lucy shares some insight about what it takes to be successful as a collegiate flyer.
You have to feel your best and feel confident in the air at all times, and sometimes it can be a lot of pressure. I would definitely say it's fun to fly at games and be in front of the crowd and be able to try new things and always try and get better.
Lucy's transition from Shawnee, Kansas to Northwest was something she feels was always bound to happen.
Family and cheer definitely led me to Northwest because most of my family went to Northwest. I was kind of born and raised in Maryville. Was always down here for the homecoming parades and things like that. So I would always see the cheerleaders when I was growing up, and I wanted to be one.
Similar to Emma from last week, Lucy also has seen the transition between coaches for the team.
I feel like they're both very positive people. I feel like both have good balance of being strict versus being a friendly coach, which I like. I think that's very helpful in keeping the team closer together. I would say I think this year is a little bit more strict than last year, just coaching wise, but I like it. I feel like we're more held together as a team, which I like, and I feel like we're closer as a team.
Throughout the 2 years she's been here, Lucy has formed great relationships with several of her teammates.
I would say the team is all friends. Everyone is so welcoming and kind to each other. I feel like we have such a good team, people wise. I feel like I made friendships right away, Riley. She became my best friend last year. We're besties. She's a friend I'll keep forever. Kari this year, we clicked instantly. So I feel like everyone is just good friends, and we all hang out outside of cheer. I wouldn't want to cheer anyone else. I've made my best friends, and Northwest is a place that feels like home. Everyone in Maryville is so nice and welcoming, and I feel like it's an experience I'll miss when I'm not doing it.
That's all the time we have with the cheer team. We're going to swing this one back over to your host. Take it away, Jason.
With 7 in action on opening day of ITA Regionals on Friday, the men's tennis team looked to cement their names in the Central Region brackets yesterday in Topeka, Kansas. The boys got out of Dodge with 4 singles victories and a pair of doubles victories that day. Junior Nicolo Chariti and senior Vinny Rodriguez led the way in singles with dominant victories over tough opponents. Senior Luke Mutzi and sophomore Dominic Winchez took over in doubles with multiple 8-3 victories as well against the competition. Great job, boys. After scoring the second-best 36-hole team score in Northwest history on Tuesday, the Bearcat golf team traveled to Marshall, Minnesota to compete in the Southwest Minnesota State Invitational. Through the first round, the Bearcats sit in second place with freshman Lexi Bartley leading the way, shooting an even par 72 through the first 18 holes. The Bearcats continue their chase for first place in the second and final round today. Make sure to stay updated on the Bearcat Athletics app or website. Good luck, ladies. Now, our athletic programs here at Northwest are fun and all, but they're not the only sports that happen on campus. Anyone watching this show right now can join in on the fun of any of the handful of organized intramurals that the university provides. Our reporter Reece Hill takes us through the intramural basketball in his segment, Fastest Recap.
Welcome to the second edition of the Fastest Recap of Intramural Sports here on Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Reece Hill. On today's slate, we have a 5-on-5 basketball tournament that boasted a field of 20 teams. The goal for each team, be the first to reach 21 points or hold a lead after 15 minutes of play and advance to the next round. The tournament tipped off at 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday at the Northwest Missouri State University Student Rec Center. The initial field of 20 teams quickly shrank to 17, with 3 squads forfeiting their first round matchups. Despite many teams battling hard throughout the night, early in the evening, 2 teams established themselves as the front runners of the tournament. On one side of the bracket, the Kool-Aid Jammers cruised to back-to-back 21-8 wins over the Sig Tau Fresh Meat and Tau 2. In the semifinal round, the Jammers ducked Draymond's fist and delivered a 19-17 knockout blow to advance to the championship match. On the other side, the 2016 Cavs opened up with a 21-11 win over Pike B and followed up that effort with a 21-8 victory over the Sig Tau Young Bucks. In the semifinal, the Cavs scraped out a 22-17 win over the Tropical Sea Men to secure their spot in the final round. In the championship, the Jammers got off to a fast start, taking a 9-2 lead. However, with their backs against the wall and facing a large deficit, the 2016 Cavs tapped into some of the magic of their namesake to go on a 20-9 run and rally to a 22-18 championship victory, sealed by this baseline floater by Dalton Hill. If you have an interest in participating in basketball intramurals in the future, but didn't know about this tournament or were unable to get a team registered in time, there's still time to sign up for the Holiday Hoops Tournament, which will take place on November 19th. Registration for that event is open until November 17th. After the tournament, we were able to catch up with the 2016 Cavs team captain, Javi Salinas, who shared a little bit about his team's strategy.
Honestly, just play fast, play physical, and just play ball. Hey, bro, 2016 Cavs, everyone doubted us, bro, and we were on top, bro. Let's go. Hey, Javi Salinas, 2016 Cavs, Bearcat Update. Take it back to you, Jason.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. We're going to shift gears here a bit. In studio, we have students of the game, Wiley Ray and Jackson Phelps of X106.7, going in depth on yesterday's win against Emporia State. Here's Wiley and Jackson with more.
Thank you, Jason, and I'm here with Jackson Phelps. I'm Wiley Ray, and today we're with BC with the X, and today we're going to talk a little bit about last night's win between the Bearcats and the Hornets in Jackson. What was a barn burner, what it felt like was a big win for the Bearcats.
It was a huge win. You know, Emporia State came in number 11 in the country, and a lot of people were doubting us, you know, and it was a, time for the Bearcats to get a great win under their belt. Defensive-wise, we saw both of the teams play, and there's a reason why they're the 2 of the best teams defensive-wise in the MIAA. So really proud to say that the Bearcats held their game, even though the offense, it's slow to start throughout the game, but the defense was holding their ground. Made some heck of the plays on offense, too. We'll get to hit more on that later, but overall, great game.
Yeah, you just kind of look at that game in retrospect, and you look at how both offenses were unable to move the ball. They could move them, but at times the defense, it was almost like a stalemate at most times. And a lot of people were saying it was a game of chess, not checkers. Yeah. And a lot of missed field goals, to say the least, but we did have wind as a factor, which was a big deal. But, starting out of the gate, it was Ty Common getting an 11-yard pass from Gunnar Gundy for Emporia State at the 13-18 mark in the second quarter, and then Northwest tied things up with a Henry Martin 4-yard rushing touchdown. And so when the Bearcats tied things up, it really did spark that energy, I thought, in Bearcat Stadium, which was electric for family weekend.
Definitely was. The stadium was packed. It was awesome to see. We had 2 great wins, in the last 2 weeks, so I knew the stadium was going to be rocking and packed for family weekend. It was great to see, the offense get those touchdowns. Henry Martin getting it started. Our very own Luke Matthews getting a touchdown grab too. The whole entire time, that bench, it was electric down there. We got to be there on the sidelines. The mood never changed. Everyone was saying, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. It's our ball game, it's our ball game. No matter what was happening, if a turnover happened for our offense or if the defense couldn't allow, they allowed points, the mood didn't change. It was like, it's our ball game, it's in our hands. We just got to go out there, not make mistakes, go have fun. It was just like the energy, the whole game never changed. And that's ultimately why I think we won, is because everyone was picking each other up. And the boys were on the move the whole way.
Yeah, and one thing to look at, that 150 mark, I mean, Emporia State pinned Northwest deep at their own 1, and then a fumble which turned into a safety because Northwest Bearcat lineman recovered it. But at that moment, a lot of fans, it went really quiet in Bearcat Stadium.
Yeah.
A lot of fans still kept that energy into the second half, and it took a while for the offense to really do anything until that fourth quarter when Chris Runke had a 29-yard passing touchdown to Luke Matthews, and that really helped spark the energy back into Bearcat Stadium, and ultimately the defense just stood their ground and really getting 4 big stops to end the game for Northwest Missouri State.
100%. That defense, we talked about it. I mean, that's the reason, I think the reason that we won the game is because amidst all those turnovers, the defense still came out there and held them to 9. They held them to 9. We've held 2 teams to 9 points in the last 2 weeks, which is outstanding. Seeing guys like Shane Fredrickson, safety redshirt freshman Holden Zigmont getting out there making plays. People have been talking about our passing defense has been a struggle, allowing teams to get pretty big passes down the field. I've seen the last 2 weeks that have stepped up big time. Austin McKinney, Khalil Smith getting in there making huge plays. Some really key tackles on the defensive line, holding that rush game down to minuscule, under 50 yards again. So I loved seeing that defense just mesh again together. They mesh so well. They fly to the ball. Everyone's flying to the ball no matter where it's out on the field. So one of the better defenses I've seen play, from the defensive line to the linebackers at Fredrickson, corners, and safeties. I was really glad to see that this team played the way they did on yesterday. So
yeah, and you talk about the defense and how they've been performing. I mean, you look at Gunnar Gundy, who threw over 70 pass attempts last week, and then this week he only gets 20 attempts. I mean, as a team they threw almost 60 attempts, and the Bearcat defense was able to hold them to under 200 yards, and by picking up a turnover and only limiting 1 touchdown. But for the defense to do that and then stopping the rush game at 45 yards is absolutely a phenomenal job there by the Bearcats.
It is. Emporia State came in there as one of the more predominant passing offenses with Tyler Common and Gunnar Gundy, like you said. Gunnar Gundy actually got hurt in the first half, so they had Chase Rickey come into the game, and we had him at 111 yards. He did throw the ball pretty decent against us, but keeping him under 150 is still really good with an offense like Emporia State. So the defense knew what they had. The defense knew what they had to do. And they did it perfectly well. And like I mentioned, under 50 yards on the rushing, that's amazing. That just shows our D-line has been putting in work on the offseason and throughout the season. Getting to see guys like Jake Fisher, Langdon Kitchen, who's also a sophomore my age. So really cool to see some of the guys step up making some big plays.
All right, and we're going to take a short break, and when we come back from commercial, we'll be sitting down with Bearcat football wide receiver in BCU's own Luke Matthews. Stay tuned.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. Here to pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
Are you sick and tired of not knowing enough about life's trickiest questions and need answers now? Well, introducing Now You Know, your place to learn everything about anything with our host, the studious Alexander Snodderly.
You can count on me.
And if you call now, we'll even include our co-host, Katie Bird, as she talks one-on-one with viewers like you. Thanks, Katie Bird. Catch us Wednesdays at noon on KNWT TV.
Now you know!
Welcome back to BC with the X. I'm Wiley Ray, and with me right now is Jackson Phelps. And Jackson, we were talking about during the break that, we had some MVPs of the weekend. And let's just start off with who was your MVP of the weekend?
Wiley, my MVP this week was none other than BCU's own Luke Matthews. It's great that we get to have him in studio with us today for this segment. But heck of a game, Luke. Heck of a game. You had 96 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. The game-clinching touchdown.
That's right.
That was amazing. With a team like Emporia State and how tough that defense has been all season long. Just take me through how you managed to get around that and just be able to, adapt to that.
Yeah,
It's important to make big plays, but it's even more important to make big plays in big moments. Offense obviously didn't have the best game. 7 turnovers. You're not going to win a lot of games with 7 turnovers, but obviously the defense hunkered down and kept us in it, right? But the offense didn't let that discourage us. Didn't let the 7 turnovers discourage us. Didn't let the lack of big plays discourage us.
Right.
And it was, obviously I stepped up to the plate, but I think anybody else on that offense could have done the same thing. And, I made a big play when it mattered, right? So reiterating myself, big plays matter, but big plays and big moments matter more. And evidently that's kind of what won us the football game, right?
That's right. You're talking about, big moments when it matters. In this game, a lot of people doubted you guys. This is a number 11 team. They're undefeated in the MIAA, number 1. A lot of doubt is going around the team. Tell me what this win meant to you guys as a team and as you as a player.
It means everything, dude. Coming into a game, we've kind of we've shown our worst football in terms of the first 2 weeks we played. So you can see why people doubted us coming into a game against an undefeated team, a team that puts up a lot of points, a number 11 ranked team, right? The better competition you play, the better it's going to look after the game with that win.
Right.
We really feel like we're getting the ball rolling now, right? This isn't a bottom of the barrel team that you should go in and score a lot of points against and win. This is a game that coaches told us before coming in, like, hey, this is going to be a 4-quarter game. This is going to come down to the last drive, the last 2 drives, right? So beating a team like that, of that caliber, watching our defense come out and have the game that they did, and again making plays when we needed to make plays, it's absolutely crucial, and it gives us all the momentum we need going forward.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Luke, and I saw it as I was walking by the sideline on the diving catch that they first rolled incomplete. You were over in Coach Wright, and you're like, hey, it's a catch.
Yeah.
And then he threw the challenge flag, and what was that conversation like in convincing Coach Wright to throw that challenge flag?
Yeah, so when I caught the pass, the referee on that sideline was saying I caught it. I tossed him the ball, I turned around, and the middle field judge was like on his knee, pounding the ground, saying incomplete. I was like, no way you're saying this. I ran all the way over to, because it was on an Emporia State sideline that I caught it. I ran all the way over to our sideline, signaling that I caught it, right? So Coach Wright comes up to me, and he was very adamant about, I'll throw this challenge flag, but you have to be for sure, because we're going to lose a timeout if we don't get this, right? So I grabbed him by the shirt and brought him in. I said, do you trust me or not? He didn't say a word. He grabbed that challenge flag and flung it across the field. So it's really awesome when your head coach shows that he has that trust in you. If I tell him that I caught it, then he's going to believe that I caught it.
That's
right?
amazing.
And obviously it came back, and I did. So pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Luke, and as you guys look forward to the rest of the season, you guys definitely have picked up the pace. You guys are definitely in that groove, and as you move forward to next week against Washburn, what are some things that you guys are looking forward to?
Getting back on the road again, really. Being on the road, it brings so many bonding moments to the team. So that's the main thing I would say for Washburn. They're obviously a beatable team, but we're Northwest. We believe we can beat anybody. So.
All right, Luke, thank you for joining us here on BCU with the X. And that'll wrap up this week's edition of Bearcat Update. Our reporter Jaden Varner is going to preview next week's Bearcat schedule. Take it away, Jaden.
Thank you, Wiley, and welcome back to Next Week in Bearcat Sports, the show that keeps you in the know. This week, I'll be covering everything there is to know about football, soccer, and volleyball, as well as highlighting players and stats. So let's start this thing off with football. Now, Wiley and Jackson already gave you the rundown of what happened last night, so I'll start off with what the Bearcats have done well this season, and a sneak peek for next Saturday's game against Washburn. The passing game for Northwest has been a welcoming sight and a big part of the Bearcat offense. Runke has gone over 200 yards passing in every game this season, as well as over 300 yards in 2 games so far. While the run game has always been a staple of the Northwest offense, it started off rather slow the first couple of games with just 81 combined yards on the ground in that span. Since then, the Bearcat offense has found its stride and the run game has found its legs, and has become a great 1-2 punch with the passing game. Looking at next Saturday, the Bearcats travel to Washburn to take on the Ichabods. Look for Jaden Brady and Tank Young to be the game changers this week. The Ichabods have not handled the run well this season, and I don't expect that to change. I predict both running backs to have over 60 yards, as well as Runke to find Luke Matthews somewhere downfield. I'll take the Bearcats 38-24. Kicking it over to women's soccer, they were unable to pick up the win against Missouri Western Wednesday, losing 3-2. Junior Darian Gordon scored both goals for the Bearcats in just 16 minutes played. It moves her up to third most goals on the team this season. Katrina Tejardis leads the team in points this season with 7. Katrina has also been quite the star for the Bearcats. She had a goal in each of the first 3 games this season. Since then, however, she's had 6 shots on goal and has been unable to get the ball in the net. She'll have plenty of opportunities, though, as coming up the Bearcats take on Northeastern on Sunday, as well as traveling to Central Oklahoma next Friday to take on the Broncos. Look for Tejardis to have a big game and the Bearcats to get back in the win column, as I predict a 3-1 victory over the Broncos. Setting up for volleyball, they were home this weekend against Washburn and Emporia State, picking up a big win against number 24 ranked Washburn. Kaya Luring reached 1,000 digs as only the 16th Bearcat to reach this feat. She had 27 against Washburn to push her over that incredible milestone. Abby Brunson also had a big night, leading the team in kills with 25, and in points with 27.5. The Ring and Brunson will be back in action next Friday and Saturday as they travel to Fort Hays on Friday and Nebraska on Saturday. This will be a tough road trip for the Bearcats, as Fort Hays is 9-1 this season and Nebraska Kearney is 13-0. Look for Brunson and the Ring to continue their dominant ways as they try to knock off 2 very good teams. As always, make sure to go out and support your Bearcat sports, and I'll see you next week. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Jaden. But that's all the time we have today. I'm your host, Jason Holland, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We are live every Sunday at 1, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. On top of Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in no time.